And once more, everybody, welcome back to Mechabellum. Playing against Half Moon Angel here, who is still deciding what he wants to take. I took the Farseer Specialist because this was also just on the new patch, and I wanted to really try out this unit and see what it can do. And for reasons that I'm somewhat unaware of, I must say, it seems that ever since the new patch, aggro has been on a rise. I don't necessarily know why, and I'm not sure I need to know, but that is kind of what's happening. So we're fighting aggro once more. The opponent and I did actually deploy decently quick. We have assault mode on the bar here for the opponent. The marksman instantly killed one of the sledges, and I really don't have any damage to contest with these tarantulas. But he had better chaff into this kind of board. He had the tarantulas for better tanking. What use would it have been if I had added marksman? So for the first round, I kind of just threw the round and said, screw it. I'm gonna set up my board and hope for some good drops, maybe. Round number 2, my opponent does get a saber. Because he is the new Saber Specialist. Similar to that, next round I will get a Farseer. We both take the Wasp Swarm, and it's going to be a battle of who gets it first. My opponent deploys it in the middle, I deploy it on the far outside here. We'll see what actually happens and who gets the tower first. I do add Stormcrawlers now because they kind of seem like the best into this board, and I know it may not be perfect into Sabertooths, but maybe I can bait out the Missile Interceptor early, and then switch out of the Stormcrawlers and go for something else with more money. Kinda seems like a good idea. My opponent has dropped some Crawlers here, which can distract, though I also have Crawlers in the middle. The only issue is, my only upshoot is literally just these Wasps. My opponent at least has some fangs, though they will probably die very quickly. And he does have the marksman. Unfortunately, these crawlers in the middle that I had, they were kind of just drawing all of the wasps forward. At the same time, the same was happening with my wasps, so neither of us got a tower so far. My wasps do now head for the tower, but their numbers are being thinned out by the marksman. Even if it's not much, it's going to matter. There's also a bunch of fangs left. It's going to come down to the Wasp v Wasp, I suppose. But it looks like there's going to be a tower, yeah. Under the tower debuff, my Wasps kind of get destroyed, and that's the end of the story. No AA. I find it funny how neither of us got a tower here, despite the Wasp Swarm. Advanced Powertrain, Sticky Oil Bomb, Rhino Assault, Improved Wasp. I think I was trying Improved Wasp, yeah. Because I've been told Improved Wasp is sick, and I have seen people play with it and it looked sick, so let's make it sick, and it will enhance my Wasp summon, I think, as well. So when you have Improved Wasps and there's a Wasp Swarm, it's gonna be a Wasp Swarm of Improved Wasps. I do now get the Farseer, and the Farseer does have some serviceable DPS. It can definitely destroy bigger units of the same level, so I decide to drop one on either side of the board. And the Stormcrawlers are supplemental. Well, not supplemental. They are probably the main DPS that I have right now. Now I just have more missiles, I guess. Farseers do lock onto the spider on the left. And okay, now it's also on the spider on the right. So these spiders are not going to survive for much longer. Although there is another one on the board that is clearing out my crawlers. How unfortunate. Chaff clear is also helped by the Farseers. And you can see a lot of crawlers moving in on the left. They're going to absolutely overrun that side, but at the same time my right side is also overrun. Opponent does get a tower, but I have probably too much stuff here. He can't clear out that sledges quickly enough, and the Stormcrawlers will make short work of everything else. It's quite impressive how the Farseer shoots its missiles multiple times at a target, even if the first shot is already killing it, simply because the shot hasn't hit yet, when the Farseer can already fire again. We do get Wraiths, both of us. Now, as far as anti-air against Wraith goes, my opponent has 2 marksmen, one of them on the verge of leveling, and I have 2 Farseers. And the Farseers do actually have more well, No, actually, I think it's actually the marksmen who have higher DPS than the Farseers. Ah, no, the Farseers have 2 attacks. That's why I was a bit confused. So the Farseer has more DPS than the marksman. That would have been sick otherwise, due to having a double attack, but not insanely bigger amounts. Meanwhile, I also get some Phoenixes here, not really against the race, but kind of just to cheese that tower. And we have the... Fortunately, I was able to get rid of the stupid green box of doom. The Wraiths of my opponent explode, and the Phoenixes get the tower, and the rest of the round goes as you would imagine in such a scenario. Also, Stormcrawlers on the right are helping with damage, and now my army is kinda just rushing in and killing a lot of stuff. The Wraiths aren't gonna survive, unfortunately. Would have been a lot of damage, but at the end of the day, the round is a very clear win for me. I wonder if I would have won without the tower debuffs, and I kind of think no. Anyhow, we have nano repair, anti-interference, photon coating, even fast teleportation. All of these I think worth it, technically. We'll see. I go for the fast teleportation, sell those Phoenixes, and what do I then do? That Farseer leveled. Also important to note. But the Stormcrawler, yeah, the Stormcrawler and the Farseer, they definitely can hurt here. My opponent also isn't all too sure what to do with his money. Apparently he chooses mines, as I go into Wraith on the Wraiths. Range on the Wraiths. I also put some crawlers down to distract my opponent's units, and do pull the replicate button. My intention is kinda to pull crawlers in, and while they approach with the fast warp in, or fast teleportation, my units are already teleported in, and then they start replicating. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of fangs here, no doubt to prevent a similar cheese on the other side. I'm not sure if the crawlers can actually win this. Upgrade-wise, it's, yeah, attack 1 versus attack 1. My crawlers have won, but they were significantly delayed, and they will win with the replicate against these fangs. I guess in the end, I was able to delay a lot of chaff, but I did pay a lot of price as well. The tech was not cheap. I will get the tower, and that's probably the only reason why I'm still winning this round. I definitely would have deserved to lose it. So that was a bit of an experimental thing that I did here. And it was kinda working and kinda not. Definitely not worth the investment into replicate here. Although it is going to be another thing that my opponent will simply have to answer. He cannot not answer it. We do finally get some more units. My opponent chooses the Arclights. I'm not even sure what I picked here. I picked the Sandworm. Okay. So we do have the Wasp Swarm here again. And this time I think they should be improved Wasps, at least for me. My opponent has dropped them here. I do have some Fangs in position, but they probably aren't gonna aggro on these Wasps all that quickly. I do decide to go into Scorpions to counter my opponent. Range and double shot comes down. The worm, I think, got sold, right? There's no worm anywhere. No, there isn't. So that was basically the investment. And then I get range on the Farseers. Range in the range buff on the Farseers, the Search Radar. Improved Wasps here with the Crawlers in combination. Maybe they can make something happen. But my opponent did drop both a Spider and a Arclight here. So that's going to kill the Crawlers very effectively. Which means if these Wasps are not able to kill the Fangs, they're gonna fall flat on their face. He did a similar thing on this side, so it would not have been a better thing to drop them here. And he also put a missile here, and the Wasps probably would have just followed these units here. So let's see. They have 70 meters of range. These have 50 meters. Why do my Wasps have 70 meters range? The improved Wasps have a range increase of 20, actually. I think it was less, but I might just be confusing that. So that is actually true. They are improved Wasps. With the mines out, I did, however, heavily lose the fight. My Scorpions were basically shooting chaff all the time, and at the end of the day, I do take a pretty big loss here.